On this week's show, Disney Division merger and Toy Box Summit 2015. All this and more in episode 95 of the Inside Infinity podcast.
What's up, guys? This is John Vignacchi, executive producer on Disney Infinity, and you are listening to Inside Infinity, the first official Disney Infinity podcast on the net.
Do you like Disney? Of course you do. I bet you even like more than just a little Disney Infinity. Well, if you like Disney as much as we like Disney, you should head on over to MediaMeltdownPodcast.com. Check out the Mousecast, a weekly dedicated podcast to all things Disney, Disney parks, Disney's news, Disney rumors, Disney movies, anything Disney. You can find it there, co-hosted by the one and only friend of the show, friend of mine, Stephen Krellin. So if you like Disney like we like Disney, head over to MediaMeltdownPodcast.com and look for the Mousecast. Hello everyone, welcome to Inside Infinity, episode number 95. I'm one of your two hosts this evening, Will Kelly, and joining me, long time missing, the one and only Lloyd Hannison. Lloyd, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
Hello, Will. Bonjour tout le monde. I had to do something. I couldn't do Australian accent again because people didn't like it the last time I did that.
Yeah, last time they called you out. So what? You're French Canadian today? Is that what that is, or you're just
actually French? So I have a right to do what I just did, even though my French accent is horrible. But yeah, I'm doing well, Will. It's been a long time. I don't know who I upset. Like someone complained, someone wrote a petition or something. I don't know.
You know what? I feel bad because whenever people haven't been on the show in a while, Stephen Krellin, they always think that they did something wrong to not get the invites. But no, it has nothing to do with that. It's just Jason always has something to complain about, and therefore he doesn't like letting anyone else on anymore because it takes away from his ranting ability.
Well, I put a bunch of sand in my pants and some cactuses and other pointy objects, so I'm angry now. I'm gonna fill the ranty boots that he normally fills on the show.
I love it. Well, that's all that matters. You know, it's half Disney news, half ranting. So, no, just kidding. Glad to have you here, my friend. It has been a while, and there's been lots of Disney Infinity news since the last time you were on. And so before we kind of get things started, you know, you and I, we do a show on the Res.TV network and VGpodcast.com. And a couple weeks ago, we were, head deep in E3 news. We did lots of E3 shows, and it was awesome. I know your Infinity E3 thoughts, but just kind of wanted to hear it for the rest of folks out there that haven't kind of heard those yet. So what were your impressions of Disney Infinity and E3 this year?
Sure, yeah. We did a lot of stuff over at Res.TV. That's kind of the network that is kind of the bridge between a whole bunch of other networks, and maybe some announcements on that in the future. But we put up a whole bunch of shows. We didn't really focus too much on the Disney stuff because that is what this show is for. I paid close attention to all of the Disney Infinity stuff that was going on. There wasn't too much. The PlayStation Press briefing was great. You had JV on stage, just kicking butt, coming out and just rocking it on stage, announcing the PlayStation Collector Set, which looks really good. I mean, you're getting a playset a month before anybody else. You're getting a figure 3-ish months before anybody else if you buy that collector set. So that was really cool. It was good to see Toys to Life shown on the big stage where there's like gun murder type games and other stuff, right? It was good to see some of the the Toys to Life stuff. I love that stuff. So it was good to see it on the big stage. And then through the week as it went on, I was looking at a lot of the videos, and there's some really interesting stuff that came out. It seemed like it was a good place to go to get figures. Like everybody was like, "Hey, I got this awesome figure," showing it off, doing selfies with their new figures. And I guess that's something with E3. The swag is a thing.
Right.
But I was looking for like kind of the nuggets of news that would come out of there. I saw a lot of stuff on the farming, which looked interesting. I'm not too convinced on it yet that it's going to be something that I'll spend a lot of time on, but it's neat. I don't know. There's a lot of people that I know personally that love Harvest Moon, and it's like one of their favorite series. They buy every Harvest Moon that comes out, and I'm like, well, now they can play Disney Infinity because there's almost like a little mini Harvest Moon kind of baked into the Disney Infinity game, which was great. seeing a lot of the other announcements, like seeing them take down an AT-AT by like hacking at the leg and popping out the batteries. I was like, hey, that looks fun, because you saw one getting taken down in Star Wars Battlefront, and that was like this big, huge, bombastic, visceral thing that was happening. And I was like, well, how are they gonna turn it into toys? And they totally did. Like, it looked amazing. Like, I can't wait for the first time that I take down an AT-AT with my son sitting there right beside me, or my daughter, or they do it, and the old man sits off on the side and watches the young kids do it. It just looked like fun, and it looked like they translated the awesomeness that is Star Wars from when I was a kid, playing with the Star Wars figures, playing with the big walkers, playing with everything, into a game that looks just as awesome. So, if nothing else, even though there wasn't a lot of news, a lot of new breaking announcements, stuff that they showed just kind of, I don't know, it took what we already knew and kind of polished it up a little bit and gave us just a little bit more awesome on the top. So I don't know, I was really excited to see kind of the new stuff that they were showing at E3.
Well, definitely is. It's exciting, you know, seeing Disney Infinity featured. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head as far as the shows in the past are shoot 'em up, bang bang, or beat 'em up, and it's not really a family friendly content generally. And the fact that Disney Infinity shared the stage with Sony is pretty awesome. So, and glad to hear your thoughts on farming too, because I know in some respects that idea is based on your games you like to play. Animal Crossing is the one I'm thinking of it, but
Yeah.
you know, it's a remain to be seen sort of thing.
Yeah,
So.
no, it was interesting. Yeah, it looked fun. We'll see. The whole weeding by hitting it with lightsabers is kind of funny. We'll see what happens when the game comes out.
Totally. Well, cool, buddy. Well, let's go ahead and get the show going. You know what? Honestly, it's been kind of a light news week, so we're gonna get through the week's news. We might kind of end up a little early, which may be okay because it sounds like we're having some audio video.
It's the chat room
here, so hopefully the recording is not doing that. So yeah, sorry folks. At this point, I think if it's still happening, you'll just have to deal with it. But hopefully, it's gotten a little better. So the first thing up, Lloyd, we talked about this before the show. So Disney had a bit of a merger, and no, it's nothing huge. Disney is not merging with another company really, but divisions within Disney are merging. And actually, I haven't really read this on the Disney Infinity news sites as of late. This just came out last night, actually. June 29th on Polygon is where I picked it up. I don't know if you saw it other places, but two different divisions of Disney has merged into one. So it's merged its video game division and toy division. And so those two divisions have traditionally been known as Disney Consumer Products and Interactive Media. Or excuse me, I'm sorry, it was Disney Interactive, which is what we often refer to, and then Disney Consumer Products. So which is essentially video games and toys, and it's now merged into a single entity called Disney Consumer Products and Interactive Media. So it's the same thing, really, right? It just has a unified name, and
it's got way more words that have to fit on a business card now.
Totally. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I'm sure the headline for us isn't as big a deal as the back room stuff that's going on for those two divisions. So Lloyd, you're someone who knows a lot about the video game industry. You've been doing video game podcasting for over 10 years now. You also are a fan of the Toys to Life genre. I'm just kind of curious, what are your thoughts on this merger, and what do you think it means?
It's interesting. It shows where the money is being made right now. Video games, they're a hard market. Like, even if you're a major company and you have a AAA title, you might have 200 people working on the game, not all at once, but over the lifespan. You have staff up at times. You work on milestones. You lay people off. You go to the next group. Staff up layoff. There's big cycles when you're developing a AAA title, and that takes a lot of money. And if you sell 1 million copies, that sounds great, but maybe you're not making a lot of profit because of all the staff costs and all the other stuff. And Disney basically went through an issue before where they took basically all of their game studios and they kind of shook them up. They got rid of a lot of the games that were being developed. They changed the way they're doing some of the mobile and some of the handheld stuff. So I guess what they're trying to do is get rid of all the stuff that isn't profitable. They don't want to be propping up segments of their company that are losing money. But at the same time, they see that video games are important because that's how kids play these days. Video games are just as important as toys. And when you have a video game that has toys, that's jackpot, dollar signs in people's eyes, right? So I guess this just means that they're going to be focusing more on this toys to life stuff. They unveiled Playmation. They talked about that just before E3, I think it was, where you can kind of interact with toys, kind of like they're a video game, but it's in real life. So I think they're really doubling down on that type of stuff, and it made a lot of sense to bring the companies closer together. Apple does that. You have your hardware engineers working right beside the software guys because you don't want to have separate companies in different parts of the world because that's how other companies do it, and there's issues there. So if nothing else, it's going to mean there's going to be some synergy between the different departments, which might have not existed so much before. And it's also going to be easier for someone in the toy department to say, hey, look at this, pitch an idea. And it's like, oh my God, that's amazing. And immediately it gets put into like a video game, even if it's just a small little demo just to show off, hey, we could do this. So it could be interesting moving forward. I think it's more just corporate stuff, moving dollars and cents around. But I think if they're really moving together and coming together in like the same buildings, it could be great for a lot of the development stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Basically, you make a toy, the video game idea comes right behind it without having different layers separating that type of stuff.
Well, I think it's funny because Disney Infinity walks that line of toys and video games. I think if you had to put it in one category over the other, I would probably consider video games. It belongs more there as far as the development of it, but it is one that walks the line, and so it's interesting what changes may affect Disney Infinity in the long term with this. Pirate Steven in the chat is saying both offices are located at the Creative Campus in Glendale, so the buildings are already right across the street from each other. So,
makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, and who knows how long time coming this could have been. So. That's cool.
Yeah, like when you're in a big company like that, removing layers of bureaucracy is always a good thing. And if this allows them to do that, that's just going to mean slower development time because you don't have to wait for people in a different department to approve or disapprove or tell you to edit. If it can all just work together, that's going to be a good thing for the game.
Totally. Cool. So yeah, I guess we'll kind of see how that shapes out and how much it will affect us transparently if we even notice anything. So time will tell about that. Awesome, buddy. Well, the next little bit of news this week, I think they're kind of ramping down from the madness of E3 in order to ramp up for the madness of San Diego Comic-Con, which is happening in a couple weeks, and so which they deserve. They've been working their tail off. But Toybox TV Live this week is bringing us kind of our only other big pieces of news. Some of which is the normal kind of gleaning insights into the world of 3.0, seeing more of the play sets, but there were a few interesting things. So they showed off some more of the Twilight of the Republic play set, and so lots more combat in Geonosis, showing off Yoda playing the game. And we're bringing this news from disckingdom.com. So they always do a nice weekly recap, and they show off a lot of images, and this is actually Yoda on Coruscant. But yeah, so they showed off a lot of Anakin and Yoda playing the game. They also showed off some of the skill trees. So this is one of our first glimpse at skill trees of 2.0. And Lloyd, you made an awesome observation that I didn't even actually realize. But the thing I realized from these skill trees is how simplified they were and how much I personally like that. But then you pointed out
yeah, they're all tabbed now, which is going to be amazing for when you're planning your skills, because you're not going to have health stuff at the top, and then at the bottom, and then on the side, and then over to the left. It's all going to be on one tab, which is going to make planning out kind of your progression a little bit better. It's like, okay, I want all the force stuff. I don't care about the attack stuff. So you really only look at maybe the first two tabs, and not the last tab, or whatever, however it works out for the figure that you're currently leveling up.
It'll be really, yeah. So this is Anakin, and so the 3 tabs are labeled health and defense in the first. And then we have force ability, and then we have melee skills. And some of these icons are similar to 2.0, but with some minor improvements. I'm really curious to see, Lloyd, how non-force type characters or non-Star Wars characters are. I mean, are they gonna have the same 3 tabs? Oops, that's pretty blown up.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to see Mickey
have the first and the third, and they might have something in the middle that
Right.
would be called something else, because they obviously don't have force abilities. Maybe it's special abilities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you think that? So, do you think Toy Box only characters, assuming the originals that we have seen are Toy Box only, other than the Inside Out characters, do you think they are going to have as robust a skill trees?
I think so. I think all the Disney figures, or the Disney original figures in 2.0, had great skill trees.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you took the 1.0 figures and put them on that they had kind of a miniaturized skill tree where they only had maybe half of the number of options. What I'm curious to see is if they're going to do anything to maybe increase the fun of the 1.0 figures. They had promised, or not really promised, but they said that they were planning on doing that in 2.0, and it never really materialized. So I wonder if that's going to be part of 3.0, kind of bringing everybody into this like 3-tab skill tree system with different power-ups and different things. Would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I there was a petition that was going around about that a while ago. I don't know where that ever fell, but it's definitely a hot button issue.
Yeah.
So cool. So some other really cool tidbits coming out of it this week is something I think that we talked about on a previous show. We got a little more insight to it, and it's non-force characters are going to have to use doors to. So there's going to be passages and stuff that you're going to need force characters to get through. And a question mark before is, how is non-force characters going to be able to do that? Because not all of the Star Wars characters are. It looks like there's going to be these terminals that you have to hack. What do you think, Lloyd? Do you think we're going to get a mini game out of that, or do you think it's just going to press X or square? I mean,
to hack.
Yeah.
I hope there's a mini game. A lot of people hate them. I always love little hacking mini games, or lock picking, or little things like that are baked into the video games I play. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, I hope there's a mini game, not just hit X to force pull a box down from a wall and jump on it.
Yeah. So the force power, even though it's just a press of a button, it's still kind of a visceral experience, and that's something that I don't know if you just press a square on a terminal you may miss. That's where I totally would dig a little mini game too.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of new. One thing that I think I was the most excited about, Lloyd, was we finally got to see how space travel is going to be. So to start off, when you're on a planet, you're going to have the ability to kind of rotate through other planets and choose a planet. Sometimes they'll be locked, sometimes they'll be unlocked. One thing I couldn't quite tell is whether or not you can see all planets, even having to do with other playsets, and unless you have that playset down, if it would unlock. I don't really know if that's the case or not, or if every planet you see is going to be one you can access from within that playset. But all I do know is that some of them were locked, and you kind of had this menu. You choose the planet you want to go to, and it gives you kind of this kind of a cinematic where you see the ship take off and go through the atmosphere, and then you kind of end up in space in a battle. So I don't know. I've been really excited about the space flight.
Sure.
What do you think of this?
I love games that have space flight all the way back to kind of Star Fox or whatever. I was kind of wondering how they would handle that. I thought maybe they'd take a page out of like some of the other games that have come, where you have kind of like a mini game as you're flying from one place to another, like Kingdom Hearts, the first one, where you had to build that little gummy ship and then you used it as you're flying from place to place. That would have been kind of neat, but I guess that would be kind of grating after a while. So it totally makes sense. But I like that you can at least see some of the flying from one place to another.
Totally. Yeah, I don't know why I was kind of worried it would just be like a fade out and fade in and not be very, but it's cool. Like when it transitions to space, it shows the camera is looking at the planet and the ship's coming at you. So it's kind of cool. It even has that animation of whatever planet you're coming from too. And one thing I was also kind of curious about, and I hope it's this way, but it almost seems like some space battles are randomized, and so when you get into space, you have a randomized mission, and you got to get through that in order to kind of progress through space to get to the next planet.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, it looks cool. I'm super stoked. It makes me think of the Pirates playset, and I hope that it kind of gives me that feeling of it exploring that playset did.
Definitely.
What else? We finally got to see a little bit of the toy box, and it's funny because I doubt this is really what people wanted to see, because you didn't really get to see much of toy box building or anything like that. We got to take a look at a few power discs. We got to see both sky and ground of Tomorrowland. So this is the Sky Dome. You can see the Tomorrowland city in the background. We also got to see General Grevious's vehicle, and this thing, Lloyd, is sweet. The animation in this thing, and unfortunately, the still picture is not gonna do it justice.
Great animation, that.
Right? Yeah, the animation of me bringing up the picture. So here we have it, and the thing spins around, but when you jump, like the legs kind of collapse when you're driving it, but then when you jump, the legs kind of like extend and push down, and this thing is awesome looking. And I don't know, do you think it surprised me how cool it was? I wasn't too thrilled about this power disc before, but I'm like, wow, that looks cool and fun.
They got to sell the power discs, right? So
yeah,
to have a killer vehicle.
That's true. I bet Toy Box TV Lives are just going to be like a kind of like a trade show of Toy Box show, or I mean,
like the whole shopping channel.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you're gonna have someone standing up there and like, here's the General Grievous vehicle, and so that was kind of cool. But yeah, they didn't really show too much building with it, but I'm sure we're going to see it pretty soon. The other thing they kind of showed in the toy box, it's not necessarily toy box specific, but it's only possible in the toy box, and that is the Inside Out characters and some of their toy box only abilities, which include, let's see here, I wrote it down, some of their abilities like disgust whipping her scarf and sadness headbutting and anger punching. So things that don't necessarily belong in the Inside Out playset, but makes perfect sense in the toy box. I don't have images of it, Lloyd, but in a few of the loading screens showed off 3 different Hall of Heroes. They showed off the Disney one, and it was just a still. I'm sure this is something they were like, oh, we got to change the camera real quick. Showed off a picture of Disney Hall of Heroes, the Marvel Hall of Heroes, and the Star Wars Hall of Heroes. And
sure.
I can't remember if that's been confirmed, but I think it had been confirmed before, and this was kind of our first look at it.
Nice. Yeah, the Hall of Heroes is a great idea. So now we just have more little pedestals to fill, I guess, which is going to be fun.
What was your personal opinion on that separation in 2? Is that something you liked, or do you wish it was combined?
I didn't like it at the start. I was like, oh, that's stupid. I don't want to go to multiple places. But then after you get there and you're basically you're in a shield helicarrier, it's like, all right, this is awesome. I like this now. It totally makes sense. I mean, they're all Disney properties, but you're keeping kind of the world separated, which totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I kind of like the immersion, like you said, the helicarrier. It's like it's going to be cool to go into your own little Star Wars world that's themed like that. I guess you could always make one, but
I hope Han is frozen in carbonite. Yeah, by where his figure platform thingy. That would be amazing.
Actually, it should just be like the hole in the floor, and his is the only one that's like a special. And when you unlock him, his carbonite goes through the floor and rises. Yeah, that's awesome. Now we know if that happens, it's your idea since Jason can't beat it.
Jason, it's not your idea. It's my idea.
Right. Surprising no one, they did confirm that they are going to have a presence at San Diego Comic-Con again, which is interesting because Disney proper isn't really having much of a showing there this year in the form of Marvel, but they are going to have another pop-up shop. I know Steven and Lila are going to make that event, so we'll give you some coverage from that. Trying to also find out if anything special is happening with that, so stay tuned with that. The last kind of bombshell they ended things with, Lloyd, is something that people have been clamoring to find out about, and it was assumed before, but now we got confirmation. So the 2015 summit was finally announced. This was interesting. It is happening unlike last year, which happened over a weekend for the most part. It was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I believe. And in fact, I know it was. This year it's happening the week of E3, so it's happening before E3 even starts. And the summit itself is going to be August 11th through 13th, so it's that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then
D20.
What's that?
You said D23, right?
Yes, D23.
Saying E3.
Oh, yeah, my bad. D23, yeah, closing up that week. And so the official press release, go ahead and bring it up on screen. So they're doing something similar that they did last year. They are holding a contest, and but the details are this summer Disney Infinity Toy Box artists from around the world will join forces in Anaheim for a jam-packed 3-day event. Toy Box Summit will be held August 11th through 13th. Highlights will include early access to 3.0 Disney Infinity, another Toy Box 3.0, another Toy Box building competition 3.0, Q&A with Disney Infinity team and influencers. I have no idea what influencers is, Lloyd. That's something kind of new.
I think that could be the YouTubers that they to be coming to do some filming and stuff. I'm thinking that might be what the influencers.
Totally makes sense. And then the opportunity to be a part of the Disney Infinity booth at D23. That sounds kind of exciting. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means they may be working the booth or just helping out, but I don't know. I think that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
So you can also, invites went out to the Toy Box winners that are going this year, and a lot of familiar names and faces, and absolutely want to send our congrats to all the invitees for the summit. But for those that did not get invited, you still have a chance. So there's going to be 4 grand prizes of attending the Toy Box Summit as a Toy Box artist, an all-expense-paid trip, an early copy of the starter pack. There's going to be 10 first-place winners outside of that receive a Disney Infinity fan pack, 3.0 Join Forces t-shirt. Those t-shirts are awesome. Drawstring backpack, the Rise Against the Empire playset, and which is cool because that's means that those people are going to be getting that playset early. You're not going to have to buy the special edition PlayStation version in order to get that if you are one of these winners. The Inside Out playset and 3.0 figures. Now, the meat of this, Lloyd, how do you enter to win this competition? So you must build your ultimate summer vacation destination in Toy Box 2.0 and tell us why you want to spend part of your summer at Toy Box Summit. Looking for Toy... Go ahead.
I said that's awesome. That totally makes sense.
Isn't that cool? I dig that theme.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really going to kind of... I'm curious to see... I don't know if we will, but it'll be really interesting to see if anyone kind of ties in their videos with their themed toy boxes. And I don't know. I could see people being creative with that. Entries must be received by July 13th, so there's really not a whole lot of time there. You have just a couple weeks to do that. And so if you're interested at all in doing this, you absolutely should give it a shot. And you can find links to the details in our show notes, or you can just go to infinity.disney.com and the community section there. It's the highlighted feature. I know Lila made a video and we tweeted out, and it is absolutely hysterical. She's like the Toy Box Princess, and it was funny. So you should definitely check out Stephen Krellen's Twitter if you want to see that. But yeah, if you do make a toy box and you make a video, let us know here on the show. Look for us on Twitter. We would love to give you a retweet and throw a little support your way, and see what everyone is working on out there. So what do you think of the summit this year, Lloyd?
I think it's really interesting. I wonder how much coverage there's going to be. Like, we didn't get much news out of the summit last year, mainly because they wanted it to be the secret thing. Like, these people, here's special stuff for you guys as a thank you, and girls. I say guys as a collective,
right?
Not trying to single anyone out. I hope there's a little bit more news out of it. I hope maybe there's like a more streaming happening, so we can see some of the behind the scenes stuff. That would be really cool. But I like it. I mean, it shows that Disney loves this game and they think it's something special. It's not just a product that they throw out with a press release and say, "Here, go buy it, buy our stuff. If you don't like it, buy more." They're at least trying to get behind their products and make it kind of I don't know, just kind of an event every time a Disney Infinity comes out. It's a really good idea, and I really like the fact that they're doing stuff like that for the community.
Absolutely, and I love that. I think that it kind of did create an expectation last year for that they would do something like that this year. But I think it's really important that they are. It wasn't a one-time thing. It's one more way of, like you said, showing their dedication to the community as a whole. And you know what? If this continues each and every year, the start of Toy Box 3.0, there is kind of a level playing field, and everyone does have an option. Yes, there's experienced toy box builders out there, but I also like the fact that they throw in the contest as well to maybe get some of the non-winning toy box artists a chance to go as well.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not to take anything away from any of the toy box artists, but you see kind of the same names all the time, and they're great toy box artists. But it would be amazing if the people that won are just people that haven't made very many toy boxes. This was the one push that they needed to come up with something really special, and then now you've converted some people to be these really amazing artists that are going to be doing stuff in 3.0. I'm just like I'm not a huge player of the toy box as far as building things, because I get frustrated with all the creativity toys and stuff, and it's just like, I'm just gonna go do something else. My kids love it, and they play in it a lot as well. But just the thought of all the Star Wars stuff, there's going to be a lot of fun to be had in my house, building bases and having battles on Hoth or in another Star Wars universe, or Star Wars planet rather. It's just going to be great. I'm super excited to see kind of what shakes out when kind of the toy box stuff starts hitting after 3.0 hits.
Totally. I mean, I had Marvel toys as a kid, but I had far more Star Wars toys, and so being able to relive those glory days is exciting for me.
Definitely.
Well, nothing to announce, but we're really excited about the summit here on the show. We are working behind the scenes. We're trying to get something special going at the summit this year and D23. So stay tuned on that. I think we're working on it, and we're excited about our idea. And so if it happens, we will let you know. And if it does not happen, then we will never speak of it again, because we don't want to disappoint you.
But if it does happen, it was my idea. And Jason, you have nothing to do with that one either.
Yep. Jason hasn't even been parts of these discussions because it's that good of an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Just kidding. I love it. We're gonna get texts from him tomorrow saying giving us a hard time about you taking his ranting spot. You're doing a good job though.
I'm trying to find things to complain about, but everything is so exciting in Disney Infinity right now. Like, it's just the whole world's in front of us, and it's Star Wars. Like, come on, Star Wars is amazing. I can't rant, even though I'm trying to be the Jason.
Well, the funny part is, even when you do rant, you still do it with a smile on your face. So it's like, he's like, is he upset, or is he like slightly displeased?
That is totally wrong, Will. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Like that? You mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Cool, buddy. Well, that's actually going to wrap up the show this week. yeah, we're gonna keep reporting on the news as it happens. I'm sure as Comic-Con kind of ramps up, we will have more to talk about. And the great thing is, Toy Box TV Live, it always gives us something to talk about at the very least, and it's an interesting, transparent way to send information to the community that frankly we just didn't have last year. We had Toy Box TV, but it was a short form show, and you just don't have the ability to play the play sets and get as in depth as they are. So really great seeing that. We're just going to keep reporting on as it comes. Like to thank everyone. We didn't do it at the top of the show, but like to thank everyone who joined us live. We got lots of people in there, so I'm going to pick names at random. What's up, Matt88? I heard you got a shout out on Toy Box TV Live this week. Romulus, welcome back. Player One Tyler, we're glad to see you there. Sumerian, Tesla Blitz, Taylor Lynn, and Crystal Perry, and Filtered Reality. So welcome everyone, and everyone we didn't mention. We do really appreciate you sticking it out with us, especially with the slight tech difficulties we had this week. Yeah, so that's it. Lloyd, do you have anything? So since you haven't been on in a while, where can people find you other than DisneyInfinity.tv?
Well, if everybody wants to check out all the other stuff I do, whether it's Nintendo news or Lego Dimensions or other stuff, you can check that out over at res.tv, rezd.tv, or rezd.tv, depending on which part of the world you hail from. All that stuff is posted there in video form. If you want to just listen to the audio, subscribe to the podcast, you can do that over at vgpodcast.com. Res is going to be kind of the central hub for a couple different things that are happening. So you'll be able to go there to get all the videos and subscribe and check them out. It's a really sweet little video player site now, where it basically it's using YouTube, but it's kind of skinning it with our design, and you can go from video to video. You can basically just leave it running and it'll go from video to video and stuff like that. So we're really proud of the site. Will and I have been working on it, and a couple of the people behind the scenes as well, and there's some big stuff to come over there at res.tv.
Yeah, there's some awesome plans that we're working on, which we're both excited about. And for those that don't know, actually we're a part of Res as well. I mean, you can find every time we post a show, you can find it on DisneyInfinity.tv, or you can find it over there at Res TV. So it's just another place. If you want to keep your Infinity separate, you can. If you want to collect it with all your other awesome video game podcasts, you can check that out.
Stuff.
Well, cool, buddy. Well, I think that's going to wrap up the show this week. Again, thanks to everyone who joined us. There's not going to be a roundtable this week. We're going to try to get that back next week. And again, we do apologize for the tech difficulties. Hopefully the audio is okay. And, well, if not, you all got the long-lost episode. We will re-record 95 next week. So with that, everyone, we do want to thank you again. We look forward to hearing and talking to you all again next week. And Lloyd, can't wait to have you back on the show real soon.
Yeah. I love doing the show. I'm a huge Disney Infinity fan, so I can't wait to come back sometime soon to talk more Infinity. And maybe I'll be a little grumpier next time. Maybe I won't sleep and I won't have coffee, something like that. Or if you do it at 3 a.m, maybe that'll be a good time for me to be grumpy. But other than that, there's just too much awesome stuff happening in the Disney Infinity world right now.
That's too good. Good. We like you happy, so. Awesome, buddy. Well, thank you again, and thanks everyone out there in internet land. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. And until next time, we hope your week is filled with infinite possibilities.